hour, it'll be cold in here.
It's
just a little window when the sun's peeking in. Once it's gone, it cools right down.
We're with you. Let's go. Toyota.
Get 1.9% APR for 60 months and earn 2019 $1,000 or get $2,000 cash back on Camry. Offers end September 30th. Toyota. Let's go places.
I definitely need to do today.
Toyota Financial Services cashback station. Toyota More Centers 8 does not include college value loans or legal must be part of the transaction. No cash flow will be consumer.
So the one, that post, pull up in the second window. It's actually from the Merck upholstery floor that Matt Green was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all that all comes from.
Okay, I got 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, we're going live.
Play more commercials if you're not ready.
We're going live right now.
I think we should do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Heads up. Trip hazards. Guys and gals. Hey, I'm checking out the Sand Hollow, whatever we got going on here.
Yeah, you want to go to the golf tournament?
Is it for the, what? Is it the Utah Open? What are they doing out there?
The Levitt Group Open.
Yeah,
The Levitt Group?
It's today, tomorrow, and Saturday.
Yeah, they support it. Oh, I've got a classic. I just had a great time with someone road raging on my way up the street just now.
Oh,
Yeah. This poor guy. I feel bad for him, mainly because his wife's going to be ripping him a new one by about the time they get up at whatever they're going after the guy, the way that guy was acting.
Who?
I'll tell you. I'll tell everyone.
All right. Good morning, guys.
It'll be fun. So fun. Woo!
It's 8:35 on News Radio 94.9, 890 KDXU. Time for the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. Here's Jeremy Larkin.
Good morning. Jeremy Larkin here, host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. Got some Facebook Live viewers, listeners. Good morning, gang. Might have some YouTube Live listeners. Might not. I don't know. YouTube's funny, isn't it, Jesse?
It is. Well,
People
we just haven't focused on gaining followers, but we were moving the videos over, so why not just go live?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we've been broadcasting that just to have the file saved.
There's a little bit more freedom with YouTube than there is with Facebook.
There is?
to do what you want with your video.
Let me ask you two road ragers here. You ever been cut off in traffic, or you were coming up Bluff Street at 45, 50 miles an hour, probably 60 actually on this guy, and someone, had the audacity to pull out and just be a human and not be going as fast as you, and you screamed at him? Rah! Yeah, you have, I'm sure, haven't you? I think we all have.
The only time I ever usually do that is when I was trying to quit smoking. It was like a Lampoon's Day vacation when I was quitting smoking.
Yeah, it was
Thankfully,
bad.
I quit and I'm done.
It was bad, wasn't it? Because you were on the edge?
It was really bad.
Oh, that is funny, man. That is
They still
funny.
talk about that. The one day that I was driving and just lost it. I was following people around, like, ready to fight. It was crazy.
Oh.
Me. Like,
oh my gosh.
All 155 pounds of me back then.
This was what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
No, this was 5, 6 years ago. It was.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, I've been off cigarettes for 4 years now, but it was hilarious that.
You kind of lose your mind. I've had my own moment this morning. So I'm cruising. This is fun. By the way, Jeremy Larkin, host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. I've got my good friend, business partner, Jesse Paul here in the studio. You're going to like this show today. I guarantee it. You're going to like the way you look. A little Men's Warehouse reference. Utah rankings. Utah is ranked 3rd in population growth, 1st in household size, 6th in poverty rate. We're going to explain what this all means shortly. 11th in unemployment, 41st in per capita income. What does this all mean? You got to hang out with us. But I pull off of First South from my casa, which is right down there downtown, and
off of or on to?
Off of First, but on the bluff.
Okay.
On the bluff to come to the studio, and I'm behind getting kids to school, and I see a guy in a CRV, and I'd probably say he was a 65-year-old man, maybe, and his wife in the passenger seat. And instead they just came zooming up on behind me. I mean, like almost kissing my bumper. Now we've actually all done this, and it's sad because I was laughing because I do the same thing. But I started watching this in my rearview mirror, right? And I'm thinking, oh, this is good. And he pulls up, and then I got the. If you're Facebook Live watching, what was that? You think the hand gesture was the middle finger, but he did this one. You ready? 3, 2, 1. You know the one. You raise the hand with the back of the hand. Hey, whoa, what's going? I mean, he is raging. This guy, he's right. Through my tinted window, I almost can see the red face, and I look at his wife. She is not. He thought. Now we're on Bluff. We pull up to Boulevard. The lights already stopped anyway.
Right.
I mean,
he's
might
gonna have to stop.
Yeah, he might have driven a block. This poor fellow. I hope you're listening, man. And I apologize for hurting your morning. I do hope he's listening. So we cruise up, and then 3 lanes up Bluff Street. He gets on my bumper. Because if you get on,
you're describing that day for me.
Because if you get on someone's bumper when you think they're going slow, it definitely motivates them even more. It really warms them and puts them in the spirit. What do you think I was doing now? I was going really I'm slow. Coming here late, and I'm even going slower now.
Yeah.
I'm not going slow, but I'm like, well, I'm not speeding up now.
And what's funny about that is the guy in front's probably doing the speed limit.
Oh yeah, this is great. I hope anybody on Facebook Live, you better chime in and comment on these experiences. So we pull up, and then I was waiting. This is the best. I pull up here, Andy, and I'm gonna make the left off of Bluff here, right? Come on to the Cherry Creek Studios. And I grinned, and I literally said out loud to myself, wait for it, because as he drives by, he did, this one. They lean forward and they look at you, because if they make eye contact and give you a grimacing face, you'll really feel terrible about yourself.
Really give it to you.
The reason I'm laughing is, we've all done the exact same thing.
We have.
And what did I do as he went, grin on my face, and I waved. So that was.
To put that into perspective, where in the heck are we going that we're so excited to get there 30 seconds sooner?
It's
because
crazy.
really, that's how much sooner
crazy.
we would get there. 30 seconds.
Here's the other thing I was thinking. All right, usually you mellow with age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you first started telling the story, I'm like, oh, this is some 20-year-old, some 18-year-old, some 27-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was a 60-ish.
Probably 65. Honestly,
Oh,
genuinely, guys.
when we get behind the wheel, we do not mellow with age.
Oh, I do. I have.
I have,
night and
but
day from 30 years ago.
Well,
Have you really?
I agree, but when it happens, it's pretty intense still. I'm like, where did that come from?
Our subject line this morning: Utah households plus income plus real estate prices equals ? I should have said plus road rage. If you're Facebook Live watching or listening, chime in. You ever had a road? You ever been a road raged? Have you been the road rager? It was funny, but again, it's the waiting for him to drive by and do the lean forward and look the look back to tell me you suck. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, I sure do. And I'm just I've already had some human experiences this morning that were painfully human. Got a couple cool things coming up. So Jesse, 60 days from now, we're going to do what?
The Basket Brigade, one of my favorite events of the year.
So tell us really what we're going to do. Because
So what we're going to do, Basket Brigade, is we are going to gather together the Saturday before Thanksgiving and deliver most likely 150 to 200 baskets of Thanksgiving dinner to families that have been nominated.
Yeah, we're delivering Thanksgiving
dinner
to the door of these homes. And I don't mean like a hot tin of au gratin potatoes. We mean like all of the fixins.
All of the fixins. So that on Thanksgiving Day, they will have Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Okay, so you love it, don't you, man?
I really do. I just love the giving part of it and the sharing.
Yeah. Pies is.
Well, the pie they can go get. We do a gift. We get a gift card.
Well, they get a pie. Yeah, they get a pie.
They'll go get a pie, they can get whatever kind they want.
Yeah.
That's the cool part about
that. So if you go over to stgeorgebasketbrigade.org, or you can just look up, St. George Basket Brigade. Google is incredible anymore; it already knows what you're going to type. So you go in there and check it out. We deliver a full Thanksgiving meal, gift basket to these homes, and gosh, it is so much fun. Saturday, November 23rd, 2019 is our date.
So I just put that into the feed.
Yeah, Facebook. Nice. Yeah, St. George. Saturday, November 23rd is the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and Tony Robbins was the originator of this event, and he's completely. When I say let it go, meaning he's kind of given it to the world and has been really intentional that like he wants people to just run with this. So it's not like it's a franchise event. It's pretty dang cool.
Yeah,
He tells this story often of what happened with his family 25, 30 years ago. Well, but actually, probably 20 years ago is when he first spoke about this. But as a child, his story is so great because he's richer than God, I think, at least in money. And he had a childhood where they had nothing. When I say nothing, like they had nothing. They were depending on handouts and single, mom, and had this, at some point his dad was a mess, and he tells a story. It's actually on our website, on the St. George Basket Brigade website. And someone came one day to give them some food, knocked on the door, and the dad screamed, "We don't need no charity," and slammed the door in their face. And it was a really, really rocky experience he had as a child. But out of that was born this idea, like when it was a Thanksgiving time, to go out and deliver Thanksgiving. So all the families are nominated, and the nomination requirement is really simple. If you perceive that someone has an emotional or physical need, and here's what we know. If you think they have an emotional or physical need, Jesse, what is the answer?
They do.
They do. That's all that's required. This is very different than like Coins for Kids, which we also support. It's just, so anyway, do a couple hundred homes.
Yeah,
And the volunteers are
I think
out.
really one of the coolest things about this event is that it touches our local.
Oh, it does.
It's really easy to send money somewhere else and, try to support somewhere else, but I think there's a deeper impact when we really help right where we're at.
Well, yes, and it's interesting because we support some other charities. We work with a group called Sell a Home, Save a Child, which does some overseas stuff. But it's pretty cool. What do you like about? I mean,
it's cool, but for me, it's cool, but this is cooler because this is local. This is touching people right where we live.
Yep.
That I can look them in the eye, I can take that basket and deliver it, and really.
And when you drop it on the doorstep, how does that work? What does that look like? I mean, what is that process?
We knock on the door and just let them know that they're loved this year and to have a great Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas.
Yep, we do. And a happy
And
holiday.
and
And
it's
we wish them a
anonymous.
good New Year. And at the same time, we knock out Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, and we might even push it all the way into like Cinco de Mayo. So, all right, check it out, stgeorgebasketbrigade.org. We are now looking for who will be our key donors this year to help us feed 200 families. I think our benchmark will be 200, and we'll see where we go from there. Lots of fun. So, Andy, we have an interesting situation, and the situation is it's the 19th of September, and everybody asks us, how's the market? How's the real estate market? That's the question. And what I want to tell folks is, the first thing I want them to know is this, okay? If you thought that you wanted to sell your home like at the highest point, I'd actually say you already missed it. That actually happened probably 6 or 12 months ago, technically.
The highest?
The absolute highest point in the last decade. I bet it's passed.
I disagree. I really disagree because
Yeah.
the market doesn't shift on a dime, just like a locomotive doesn't stop as soon as it hits the brakes. So we're still going to see some increase. Now, if you're talking about the most intensity, then you're correct. But as far as the highest goes, I think that we'll still see a little bit higher
So this is
over
good.
the next year.
I'm creating a little controversy because I know Jesse will push back.
I was trying to think when the last time Jesse disagreed with you.
The last
He
time we
does.
talked about the
He
market.
disagrees. He disagrees all the time.
Not on the radio.
No, yeah, it's happened. The last time we talked about the market, I disagreed as well.
Do you want to guess what the average sales price of a home in Washington County is?
$350.
Very
That's
close.
close.
$333,015. 12 months ago it was $332. So prices are literally the average sales price. Now we're going to talk about the median. The average sales price is literally exactly what it was 12 months ago. Now, the average, of course, takes all of them and all of the sales and just divides them, and large sales, a few extremely large sales or extremely small sales could change things.
Right.
The median price, now that's up. That's up to $390 from last year at $365. The median be the middle. So if
Oh,
there's,
wow.
yeah, so,
That is way up.
so if there's 1,000 home sales, right, the median is the 500th home sale. It's the very, it's the whatever the exact middle is, right?
Right.
Not in order chronologically, but meaning if you listed them all out on a sheet of paper, people always think of a list as vertical, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. List them left to right. Okay, like as a landscape, the middle is the median.
Mhm.
Okay, so 390. Here's what I would actually have people really pay attention to, is that the days on market are up from last year at this time. Okay, this is the first thing I want you to understand.
Quite a bit.
Yep, the average days on market is up. The average time that it's taking to sell a home is higher than it was last year. Additionally, the number of listings for sale on the market is up 11.5%. So Jesse made a great point. What real estate markets don't shift on a dime.
They don't,
What
they
we,
take a while.
yeah, what we do is we see the leading trend.
We start to feel it,
Uh-huh.
then we start to see it in the industry, right? We'll start to, right now we're feeling it, and what that means to me is a home that I would have put on the market last year, I could have possibly priced it higher and still got buyers in and still got offers. Well, this year, I have to pay so much attention to pricing when I put a home on the market, because buyers won't come. Buyers won't put an offer in because it's starting to shift in their minds right now.
Three things.
Over the
yeah.
last 6-12 months.
This is exactly right, and this shows up in three ways. Okay, it shows up in we'll start to see price reductions. So we'll see, and it's funny because we don't track day to day. We can; it's available to us. But what we start to notice is this trend. Man, I've been sure seeing a lot of emails from the multiple listing service agents can send an email to all of the agents. It seems like I'm seeing a lot more price reduced emails. Okay, so we see it in the form of the perception and the reality of more price reductions.
Of having to correct it quick.
Yeah, okay, because people are like, Andy, you're cruising along, and the last guy in your neighborhood was asking 300, so you asked 310, and you sell for 310, and then the next guy asks 315, and they sell for 350, and the next guy says, I'll try 325. Well, at some point, the jig is up, and like, you're like, I'm gonna try for 360, the last guy is 350, and 60 days pass, and you're like, ah, shoot. Okay, the markets, so number two, buyers start to write, we're starting to see lots of low offers.
A lot of lower offers.
12 months ago, almost every offer we received was 98 to 100% of asking price, if not over the asking price. Even though, so watch, even though prices aren't down, because we have the data that says they're not down,
Right.
we're seeing more buyers write low offers. You see
Right.
how that is a trend,
And
right?
what's happening is, I just had this happen the other day. We had a buyer come in from California. So he was selling his house in California. Their market has shifted. He had to take $150,000 less for his house than he thought he was going to.
Yeah,
So
and,
then
and,
he
is the,
comes
and,
here.
our value's down $150,000?
No.
No,
His
then what his
perception was
perception.
wrong. So, but he comes here and he throws this offer in, and it was $37,000 lower than our asking price.
Yeah,
And we had been on the market, beautiful home over on Lloyd Drive. Been on the market
Incredible
for, I think 9 days. And so I called the agent. I said, hey, I just want to make sure to be able to explain to my seller what's going on with this offer. Well, he was in California and it's shifted there, and so he believes it's shifting here too. Okay. So I took that to my seller, and we actually didn't accept that offer. We created another offer
which is awesome.
off of that and ended up getting him 98.5 of his list price.
What's that sales price gonna be?
It's 560.
$560,000.
We were on the market
So the
for
market's still strong.
569.
So well done. So we see it in the form of price reductions. We see it in the form of low offers, and then the last and important trend we just talked about. If we look at the actual available number of homes in the market, we'll start to see that going up.
It's going up.
And it doesn't just go up. By the way, it did go up overnight in 2007. However, traditionally it doesn't just go up overnight.
Right, it's gradual, and we're seeing it gradually right now.
Right now, let's see here. Dietrich says, I have the worst anger everywhere but behind the wheel. And I said, I do
Oh,
not.
good.
Don't believe that at all. Do not believe that. Jeff says, I keep road raging because my Facebook feed keeps cutting out. Good morning, guys. I wish you wouldn't drive and be on Facebook. Wow. St. George Police Department, let me give you his license number, his license plate number. Who knows? So we have something interesting going on. We talked about this on my personal Facebook page this week, and if you wanted to watch this on Facebook, folks, we're at facebook.com/Jeremy Larkin. So the University of Utah just released their latest economic study, and we've shared this on my Facebook page, and before we're done, we could probably put this graphic on here. So here we go. Utah, Life Elevated. There's a picture of the, cool Utah billboard. Utah is ranked 3rd in population growth, okay? So how this works is, it's basically most favorable to least favorable, meaning we were the 3rd fastest population growth in the United States of America, okay, as of their
I wonder what that was
second
before
quarter.
people started moving here. I'll bet we were still up there just because of, our
Yeah.
family size.
Yeah, probably. Yes,
But-
correct.
But
okay?
in the last 10 years, people
So,
have
so we
really
have,
started.
and you just nailed it. 2 things happening, right, Jesse? People are moving here, and people are having lots of kids.
Right.
We are ranked number 1 in household size. Well, duh, duh.
I'm down to 4, but I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
7.
And and you know this, when you speak to people from the East Coast and certainly outside of Utah, they really do look at you like, what? Yeah, for the world at large, 4 kids is just out of control, and 4 kids has become the average in St. George, right, in Utah. Okay, we are ranked 6th in poverty rate. Now, if you read that wrong, you're like, oh, we're at the bottom. No, it's not. It doesn't mean that's thinking. Well, let me describe it this way. 6th in poverty rate means we're better than 44 other states. That's what, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what we're
Right.
saying, right? 43 others, I guess, technically. We're better than 40. So so if number 1 is the best, the lowest poverty rate, the lowest poverty rate is number 1 in the United States, we're number 6. Utah's doing fantastic. We have very little poverty. Now, I understand people will say, yeah, but you don't know people are going hungry. We do know. Remember, we said we're going to feed 200 families.
We do.
Statistically speaking, right, we don't have the poverty rates. We are ranked 11th in unemployment, meaning, we were the 11th best
Right.
in unemployment, very little unemployment. But here's the challenge. Number 1 in household size and 41st in per capita income, meaning we were worse than all but 9 states in per capita income. But what is per capita income? So we opened this discussion up the other day, and this was fantastic.
Yeah,
We had
there's
some
a lot of discussion.
killer comments. Robert McFarland, who we've had on the show, Robert commented, and he said, per capita income or average income measures the average income earned per person in a given area, city, region, etc., in a specified year. It's calculated by dividing the area's total income by its population. So if we have a lot of people in a home,
Mhm.
and we divide the income by that, what does that cause the income to look like?
Goes down
It
per
looks
person.
small, right? Because, let's take for instance, that family A, household A, in, let's just say New York City. Family A in New York City is 4 people in the household. Household A is 4 people, and they earn $100,000 a year. But if you take family B in Utah with 6 people in the house and they earn $100,000 a year, the per capita income actually went down.
Yep.
So the reason I want to point this out is when people see this, I put it out there because I knew it would create some controversy, and people were chiming in, our income sucks. Our wages are too low, our houses are too expensive. So let me nail a couple of things. Yes, I think wages are too low. I do. And yes, I think housing has gotten generally too expensive. I do, right? But I need to make an important point. The problem is that housing is too expensive across the entire country right now. Literally, unless you want to move to like Kanosh on I-15 freeway, right, or the middle of Kentucky, I'm telling you, every city in the country. Do you remember the guy that moved from Nebraska City, had a 300,000? Do you remember this? He was looking at Brookwood, had a $300,000 house in Nebraska. His property taxes were $7,000.
Wow.
What's our property taxes on 300,000 here, Jesse?
Probably 3, if that, 2,500.
Probably 2. I think. I could be
Yeah, you're
wrong.
probably correct.
$7,000. Could you imagine going from $2,000 to $7,000 a year in property taxes for the same thing? So that $5,000 changes everything. So what I would say is, yes, I think wages are lower than we want them to be, and housing is really expensive. But you have to realize that housing is expensive everywhere, because when the tide is high, what does Warren Buffett say? Does anybody remember? When the
All
tide
ships
is high,
rise.
all ships rise, all boats float. The entire, especially Western U.S., is up.
Mhm.
Do you think this is true? You think
I do.
I'm getting this right?
I do.
1 minute. I mean, we have friends in every single major city,
Mhm.
right? Average, you know, what the average sales price right now in Park City is $1 million. $1 million. Okay, $1 million. So,
But even though they're high, it is also still one of the best times to buy because of interest rates.
correct.
that's-
So, what
It's a catch-22.
we are having a flood of investors. Last comment today. I want you to visit us if you are specifically an investor ready to cash out and you want to cash out at the top. Visit with us. Visit us at soldinstgeorge.com. Soldinstgeorge.com. Click on the contact us link or the grab 30 minutes and ask us anything. This is going to be, the last 24 months will have been that time when people look back and go, oh man, values are really high. I'm kind of sick and tired of the landlord game, or I got a vacant home that I inherited. Talk to us because we can make you an instant cash offer, or we can just get you top dollar on the market. All right?
Thanks,
Jesse,
guys.
thanks for coming in, man, and challenging me today,
You bet.
and for not road raging.
All right.